So I got lied to. That's fine. If there's one thing video games have taught me, it's pursuit. Level after level, day after day. Going further and further inside myself. Into the labyrinth. Searching for the beast. The one that I must slay. But when I turned 30, I realized I was lost. And each time I near in on that thing, that one thing that will make me invincible, it goes out of reach. And I'm left there, gazing into the abyss. I feel the abyss gazing back into me, and my mind blanks. If there's another thing video games have taught me, I'm the hero. But obviously, I'm not Theseus, because I'm a coward. And I'm not Daedalus, because emotionally I'm the child. But I'm not Icarus either. Icarus flew too close to the sun and fell back to Earth. I guess I flew too close to the sun too, and my wings that were giving me did burn. I didn't fall back to Earth. No. I got lost in the clouds, and I drifted. And before I knew it, I was out. Beyond reference or precedence. Beyond the lighthouse of the sun. I'd passed the sun. I'm beyond the sun. And now I'm floating around out here with my thoughts. Self-obsessed and isolated. Gravity cannot touch me. Cannot give weight to my body. Cannot inflict upon me even the tug of consequence. I'm beyond Narcissus. Why now, though? Why did I red ring now? Of all times, why do I now look in the mirror and see not me, but a mirror? It's not because of poor hardware design, no. Besides my bad back, hardware's fine. But the software, I'm 30 and I'm totally lost, close to a nervous breakdown. This is actually footage of me on October 15th, 2009, my 30th birthday. I don't know what's wrong with me, but something is very wrong. I guess there's a lot of stuff in my life that could be the source of my discontent. I usually build and upgrade my computers myself. Like I said, when it comes to computers, I'm pretty unstoppable. I know that when something goes wrong, you go through a process of elimination to figure out exactly what is causing the problem. You troubleshoot. First off, there's my job. I mean, I've already detailed my job, but I painted a negative picture. Sure, it sucks sometimes, and the environment is corporate as fuck, but it's not a bad job, and I don't dislike my coworkers. It's how I make money. It means I have money. 5 figures. In my current job, I get to try to get better at the things that I someday want to be great at.
Okay.
I'm lucky to even have a job right now with the economy the way it is. I'm not bad at it. I mean, there's certain parts of it that I'm good at, but other parts. I hold such contempt for marketing people. The kind of people who generate my salary. It's not my problem that they're lying, degenerate, pandering, consumptive, self-betraying, insincere, willfully disingenuous, vacuous scum. So it shouldn't have anything to do with me. My living situation does suck. I live with 3 guys who I don't really connect with all that well. In fact, one of them should probably die a slow death. But the other 2 are genuinely good guys. They can't be the problem. I've had bad living situations before, and I didn't red ring then. For example, here's a former roommate of mine. She called herself an artist because she made what she called art. such as this, her abstract impressionistic throat singing installation. I've had good roommates and bad roommates. I've never had a meltdown like this. The only problematic person I live with is me.
Alright, cool. Good. Sounds good.
It can't be my social life. I don't even have a social life. I mean, not even a digital one. One day at work, one of my coworkers said that I was a misanthrope. First of all, Kevin, a well-read and intelligent acquaintance of mine, said it's actually pronounced misanthrope, which is to say, if you're going to insult someone, you should probably pronounce it correctly. I'm not a misanthrope or a misanthrope. I love people, just in an abstract sense. My life's an episodic narrative. Myself the hero. Other people, the supporting cast. Through video games and books and movies, I've surrounded myself with fictional characters who give me a sense of self. Give me my own character to play. And too bad my character isn't all that sympathetic to the common viewer. After all, I am Narcissus. Narcissus, a character of Greek myth. As the story goes, he was self-centered, self-involved, and self-loving, so much so that he stared at an image of himself in the water to no end, but seeing it wasn't enough. He wanted to touch it, and when he touched it, the water rippled and his image distorted. He became enraged because he could no longer see himself, so, chasing his own reflection, he jumped into the water and drowned. From his death sprung up the flower, the Narcissus. Narcissism. I make these videos. I stare at myself on a screen for hours and hours on end. On the screen, I become something separate, something malleable, something that is me, that isn't me, that I have total control over. I stare into the screen and edit me, and think of me, and remake me. I pick out all the best angles and I use them. I just delete the bad takes and forget they were ever there. A computer screen. When the light strikes it at a certain angle and causes a glare, it looks like some surface of some pond. I just stare into it and edit me and look at me and think of me in the hopes that something is created, that something comes out of it. Something pleasing. But in the end, just narcissism. The most telling thing about my narcissism is the fact that I have a theme song. It's a song that I wrote and that I hum to myself. Every time I find myself walking around and I'm down and out, I hear my theme song in my head and I hum it or whistle it. I've written and recorded dozens of versions of it, different variations for different moods and settings. So there's my setting. My life takes place in New York City. New York isn't my home, it's my setting. In New York, there's millions and millions of other selves. 8,363,710 as of the last census in 2008. I mean, New York ain't no Shanghai. It's the most populous place in the world with 19,213,200, but in Shanghai, they're communists. They don't have selves. I don't know how much longer I can see myself in New York. You see yourself everywhere here. New York is full of your own reflections. You're in shop windows. You're in car windows. You're in subway car windows. You're in the pond in Central Park. And you're in the bathroom. The bathrooms are the place where being by yourself is mandatory, not optional. While being by yourself in New York is such a rarity. Each bathroom in New York is an oasis of introspection and narcissism. The true nature of narcissism is to wash one's hands before one goes pee-pee, not after. But a true narcissist isn't pampered, quite the opposite. A true narcissist is not only his greatest admirer, but he's also his greatest critic. Whenever I make a mistake, like deleting a file that I shouldn't have, or getting lost on the Lower West Side, I say, "God damn it, Andrew. Andrew, you fucking idiot." Or, "Andrew, you penny-ante, self-centered, dipshit, asshat, cocksucking, bitch-made, skankbot motherfucker." I pretend in the moment that I'm actually scolding myself, but I guess I'm really not. I'm scolding a self. I'm creating a proxy me to take the damage and convincing it that I've learned my lesson. Really, though, it's impossible to scold yourself because you're essentially scolding the scolder, one in the act of a scold. It's impossible. I get so angry with myself. Maybe I can have proxy me turn the tables and scold me, the scolder. Actually, that's probably not a good idea. Deep down, I'm a rash, violent person given to crimes of passion, and killing proxy me would be suicide. Literally. I can't kill him. I have only words. Words aren't going to do the trick. For every insulting synonym, there's a complimentary antonym. Words aren't that effective. Whoever said a word spoken as an arrow let fly wasn't at the Battle of Normandy. Arrows put eyes out. Which, I guess, maybe that's true. Words put eyes out, too. Ah, that's a terrible pun. Puns make me want to shoot myself. But Shakespeare used puns to good effect. Maybe I can use insults to kill myself. Or my sense of self. For starters, he's a false idolater. He idolizes Clinton even though he thinks politicians are nothing more than glorified tax collectors. He idolizes Jesus even though he's not a fan of Christianity. And he idolizes Shakespeare even though he doesn't understand a word of his plays. Well, other than the part about how misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows, but deep down he knows this isn't really true because a man's acquainted with true misery when he can't find bedfellows. True misery acquaints a man with watermelons with holes in them, which I guess it is a strange bedfellow, so. He idolizes all these people just because of how much they accomplished, not what they accomplished. It's all so confusing. He also idolizes Francis Bacon, the guy who wrote Shakespeare's plays, but Bacon also writes about the dangers of idolatry. So fuck Bacon and fuck Shakespeare. Fuck Joyce too. He name drops Joyce whenever he can, and he always tries to fit the fact that he read Ulysses into any conversation that has anything to do with books. But he didn't understand it when he read it, and he didn't even really read it because he didn't understand it. It made him feel stupid until Kevin, his intelligent and well-read acquaintance, said Joyce's Ulysses was a failed experiment. I'll take his word for it. So yeah, fuck Shakespeare, fuck Joyce, fuck Whitman, fuck Clinton, fuck Orson, fuck Zorn, fuck Allen, and Altman. Fuck me. The fuck am I? I spend so much time trying to emulate others that I don't have my own self. I have to figure out who I am to get me out of this mess. My earliest memories are of me trying to not be me. Lee Bonaparte. When I was a kid, I had really red cheeks. They'd get even redder when I was embarrassed, so I'd work hard. No, this is terrible. The story here is about the time that I tried to shave off my cheeks because they were red and other kids made fun of them. I originally included in the video to appear insightful and damaged, but, it's just a reminder that I'm an oversensitive pussy. I don't think I want to know who I am as someone I am as someone who does stuff like this. But now I'm older, probably more me than I was me when I was little me, but much of me now is what I've been told I am. Officially, I'm this guy, but all this can change in a heartbeat. I could move to another address, I could grow a mustache, I could get a beard and reduce it to a mustache. It's kind of playing on the idea that the facts about us aren't who we are. I'm supposed to be an adult, right there in the ID. I'm supposed to be an adult, but I am not an adult. I'm a child. Or it could just be a fake ID. If not for government records, I'd have no idea how old I am. I don't know why I try. Which one was real? What am I doing? This is terrible. There's really no need for me to insult myself if I keep doing shit like this. I'll just let everyone else do the insulting for me. There's the old saying that you are what you eat. maybe we are what we drink, too. In that case, I drink coffee. A lot of it. It's not the taste, it's the way it makes me feel. So I like caffeine, but not just the caffeine, because I don't drink caffeinated tea and I don't take caffeinated pills. It's the caffeine, but the caffeine in the coffee. Without caffeinated coffee, I may as well not even get up in the morning. Some people can tell the difference between good coffee and bad coffee. I don't care what kind of grounds they are, as long as they're caffeinated and they liquefy into this cup. So it's not so much the caffeine in the coffee, it's the caffeine in the coffee in this cup. Without caffeinated coffee from this cup, I am 1/8 a man. With caffeinated coffee from this cup, I'm 3/4 a man, or 1/1 me. Caffeinated coffee makes me whole again, especially when it comes out of my Oriental porcelain cup. This is my favorite fucking cup. Coffee tastes so much better when it comes from this cup. But that really tells me nothing about me, that I like it. The coffee, the caffeine, or the cup. Usually, I know exactly what I'm talking about after I've had coffee. You can tell from my tone of voice. Coffee makes me more intelligent. It makes me know a lot about things that I know nothing about. That being said, I've got a belly full of it at this very moment, as I deliver this voiceover, and I don't know shit about me. Food's not really indicative of taste, because with food, there are physical repercussions. Yummy. Like, for me, if I eat cheese, I throw up. It doesn't mean I don't like cheese. I just can't eat it, physically. My body abhors cheese, but I have nothing against it personally. Like its color. Truth be told, I don't think coffee really tastes good, but it makes me feel great. Coffee makes me feel better than it tastes. I prefer my emotional reaction to coffee to the purely physical sensation of it. I guess that says a lot about who I am. It's not so much what you like that defines you as an individual, but rather how you like it. It's way too hard. You hope that each cup of coffee were like a practice, and that my body would get better at reaping its benefits of maintaining that emotional lift. That my body would become more efficient at processing coffee. But no. The more coffee you drink, the less effective it becomes. You don't get better at drinking coffee by doing it a lot. You actually get worse at it. The more you do it, the more you rely on it, the less of an effect it has on you. People always just assume that the more you do something, the better you get at it. But that's not true. Doing something a lot doesn't necessarily make you more skilled at it. Along the same lines, the more time I've spent as me, the less I feel like I know who I am. If you ask me what I've got skills at, I couldn't say anything, really. Maybe video games. But no, I'm actually not good at them. I actually suck. Hard. I've tried to get better at them. I own all 3 major home consoles and 2 portable ones. My gamer score is over 25,000. I play lots of video games, but I'm not good at video games. Thor Ackerlund, the 1990 Nintendo World Championship champion, he was good at games. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Thor Ackerlund, and because he was good at games. I spent so much time trying to be Thor Ackerlund that I never got good at games. I didn't know it didn't work like that. I still don't, really. Recently, though, I purchased some add-on trigger peripherals for my PS3 controller. I thought it would improve my reaction time. It didn't. I'm still not good at video games. And I'm even worse at being Thor Ackerlund. That's probably a good thing. Because I like women. Especially the parts they keep hidden. Real women, not fake ones. I used to think fake ones were alright too, that reproductions were almost as good as the real thing. But they're not. Art is just a lie that we tell ourselves to keep it honest. I used to like art. I used to spend entire days in museums just standing there before paintings, one by one, staring into them. But when an attractive woman would walk in front of a painting, no matter how great the painting, no matter who the artist, the painting would drop into the background. It would blur and desaturate and unexist. I've seen even the best paintings in the world lose out to a girl. To even a moderately attractive girl, let alone a beautiful girl. That's when I realized I wasn't really interested in art. That I was more interested in beauty. Now when I go to a museum, I go for the erotic content. I'm probably better off this way, not liking art. I have terrible taste. Just 10 years ago, I liked Jimmy Buffett. I idolized him. I even owned a Hawaiian shirt. I read one of his books, the whole thing. And granted, that was before I'd read Ulysses, but I'd like to think I've developed my taste. My taste in things has improved, but I doubt it. My taste probably still sucks. In my opinion, preference is nothing more than predictive memory. That's why I'm trying to learn more about me. And I found that I'm not what I prefer. The things we remember make us who we are. When I was young, I began to wonder when I was going to forget who I was. I remember going to bed each night worried that the next day might be the one where I woke up having forgotten something about myself. My distaste of cheese, or my fear of biting into aluminum foil, or my love for video games. I'd forgotten where I'd put toys. I'd forgotten things I'd been told. I'd forgotten all about having been a single-celled organism, let alone having a placenta. And I'd forgotten entirely about having been a baby. Whenever my mom would try to convince me that I had been a baby, I'd think to myself that she was a liar. She'd show me pictures, and I'd wonder why, if I had been a baby, why I couldn't remember it. Why I couldn't remember the moment in the photograph, or even recognize the person who was supposed to have been me. In the end, I took her word for it. That was me. And I just couldn't remember it. So I figured the trend of forgetfulness would continue as I aged. That I would forget having been a little boy. But I haven't. I remember a lot of stuff now. That's not necessarily a good thing, meaning that you can't be selective about memory. The things we don't forget are the things we end up calling self. Essentially, we are the things that can't be forgotten. To me, it seems we remember more the bad things than the good. And there's a school of thought out there that says in order to forget things, you must push them out into the open. And when seen by others in the light of day, your memories become less yours and more ours, and that then, they don't hurt as bad. I don't know if that's true. But I'm trying. Some people think that we're born a blank slate, and that who we are comes entirely from experience and perception. I guess the most basic element of who we are would be the actual blank page upon which we are. And if that's true, then the words upon the page would reveal what we become. If only I could write an autobiography, and reading it back to myself would reveal who I am. I don't even know myself, so I'd have to write my autobiography in the third person, and that's a biography. And I'm not going to write a biography myself when I get one for free when I die. That's an obituary. An obituary is basically a biography with a sports section. And that's not true. I know that when someone dies, their life as seen in words doesn't really contain their living of it. The written word is without life. It's all just dead letters on dead wood. When you die, your flesh rots, and it appears that yourself goes along with it. So there's all this stuff, and not me. And there's all this stuff, to me. But that doesn't seem right. I mean, even in here, there's contradictions. I'm made up of lots of moving parts, not all of which are in agreement. I am large. I contain multitudes. But then again, don't we all? The human body is a functioning whole. All of us have the same components, the same parts. So that makes it difficult to say that in here is me. If anything, in here is us. So what in here makes us different? We all have a heart, a pair of lungs, a gastrointestinal system. We all have ears, eyes, a nose, and a tongue. We all have a spleen, tonsils, kidneys, and an appendix. The brain, like we said, we are the things that can't be forgotten. But the brain doesn't always tell us what we remember. The brain isn't one of us. The brain is the source of most of our problems. And it's got its tentacles deep inside you. The brain makes you think that pain comes from out there. That's not the way pain works. The sensation of pain is generated by the brain from within. The brain is using pain to ensure its own survival. The brain is a parasite, the so-called sympathetic nervous system, nothing more than an overzealous PR machine. The real face of the brain is the parasympathetic nervous system. The brain acts like it's not the one making your heart beat 72 times a minute, like it's not the one forcing your lungs to heave 13 times a minute. But it is. Try to stop your heart from beating. Try as hard as you can. Go ahead. Skip just one beat. Genuinely try. You can't do it even though it's supposed to be your body. You don't control your brain. Your brain controls you. Sometimes, I wonder if my brain hasn't already turned my body against me. And most times, I don't feel like my body's really on board. Like, I wish I didn't have my backbone. I have a bad back. So painful. I've tried to reason with the backbone directly. To appease it, I even bought it a 3-inch memory foam mattress. But it still makes its presence known beginning each morning, long into the night. I even bought it a brace with new age magnets. But no. My back hurts me, and I don't know why. Perhaps because I've turned my back to the world. Perhaps because I've spent the last decade patting myself on the back. I wish it weren't my back. Doesn't matter. I don't think it's part of who I really am anyways. My nose, however, well, that's a different story. My nose is crooked. It's called a deviated septum. When I was a child, I thought it was God's way to bookmark me as something special. Now I know it just hinders breathing and taste. Talk about a puppet regime. Your nose is the only part of your immediate body that doesn't stop growing once you're a grown-up. This used to freak me out, but now I find solace in it. That means there is still a physical part of me that hasn't given up, that won't give up until we are dead. Your hair keeps growing even after you're dead. So that's just proof that it's not part of your immediate body, that it cares not if you live or die. My hair is already dead to me. As far as I'm concerned, it may as well be a wig. The worst thing about turning 30 is that you begin to see all the positive aspects of being young behind you and the negative aspects of being old above you. Hairs, gray hairs, they begin to pop up in mass. Gray hair isn't actually becoming gray, it's just losing pigment. Gray hair's color is the result of its absolute lack of color. Life is color. Is draining out of you. They don't add up. They multiply. It's not 1 plus 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 1. No. They breed. One gives birth to 2, and each of those gives birth to 2, and then each of those gives birth to 2, and before you know it, you've got a colony of embittered follicles on your head, and they start screaming, no taxation without representation, and they start scheming with the rest of your body, getting good with your nose, alluding to the fact that it, too, is still growing. Your nose is already getting good with your tongue because taste is really 90% smell. From there, the dominoes begin to fall. Your tongue threatens your gastrointestinal system with an embargo. Before you know it, your sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system's cut a backroom deal. All the alliances and allegiances you thought you had with yourself begin to falter, and they become not you, but them. And they begin to take you down, and your joints join in, and your backbone. And then you remember, and you rise up and revolt. And this is a dictatorship. Storm the castle. You are you. You are you. And that is that. I used to get pushed around by my body. I grew my hair long last year, but I decided to cut it when I needed a change. I thought it would cause a mental shift when I cut my hair, as if I'd be a new person, as if I'd feel differently about myself. I overestimated the effect. I cut it, and then immediately upon looking into the mirror, I recognized me. I was the exact same person I'd been before, except for the fact that I lost all my physical strength. But thankfully, the strength here is nothing compared to the strength that I hold deep inside. Nobody can break my spirit. Surely not my own body. Your physical body doesn't define who you are. It's physically impossible. And there's parts of your body that just don't last. Your fingernails, your hair, your skin that invisibly flakes away as you sleep. Your body changes. Every 7 to 10 years, the cells in your body are replaced anew. They regenerate. You are not physically the same person you were 7 to 10 years ago. Thank God. 7 to 10 years ago, I idolized Jimmy Buffett. We can always be someone new. We all have the same body parts. It's what makes us all equally human. That should make our emotional pain that much easier to stomach. We should see that others are composed of the same parts that we are composed of. That they feel the same things we do. But no. It just makes life more confusing and awkward and disorienting. We are all made of the same parts, but we're all too different. How can people so similar be so many lives apart? I used to believe in truth. I used to think that I'd find truth within. That to find what lies deep within the heart of man, one had first to look along inside his own. And in a way, I was right. The truth is inside of me. Truth is, I'm full of shit. I'll tell you one thing in my corner. I don't make pretense to perfection. I hate people who do. I hate people who say things like, I'm sort of a perfectionist. No one is perfect. All is flawed. We're all filled with poo that's just waiting to be released. And life is filled with the releasing of it. Even Jesus had an anus, and a small penis, and in between a chota, which you can kind of see right there. I know now I'm not like Jesus, never will be, but Jesus wasn't Jesus. Jesus was Socrates for dumb people, and Socrates was Homer for physically weak people. All were great, but all were equally human. And being human, they each had an anus and a penis, and testicles too. Plato and Bacon and Bishop Berkeley all possessed an anus and a penis and testicles. And they were all full of shit. No mind. The body is more than a vessel, and who we are is the sum of its parts. On October 15th, 2009, I turned 30 years old. As I stood there, I began to think back to a conversation I'd had in my early 20s with a close friend of mine at the time, Steve. I was telling Steve about a scientific study that I had read. According to the study, they had found that something in the brain physically changes at 30, and that this is the point at which genius comes to fruition. I don't remember the details, I just remember the fact that genius unlocks at 30. I remember telling Steve about the study, and I remember Steve nodding politely. And I remember thinking to myself, man, I can't wait till I'm 30. Here I am at 31 years old. On my 31st birthday. Yes, I'm full of shit. Yes, I'm one of those people who's over-opinionated to sound smarter than he actually is. Yes, I'm still sort of a narcissist. But I'm trying to say hello. Trying not to be such a coward. Trying not to be so me. And this is a present from a small, distant man. A token of my sounds, my science, my images, my music, my thoughts, and my feelings. This is who I think I am. I'm attempting to survive my time, so I may live into hours. If you receive this message, prospective girlfriend, prospective employer, prospective what the fuck ever, I hope it finds you well. I look forward to hearing from you. Andrew Samuel, 646-645-5797. Or you can email me at andrewfsamuel@yahoo.com.